Mckenzie Writes, hey AMC Movie crew, we all know how much you love Star Wars Original Trilogy and hate the prequels. But what if the prequels weren't prequels? What if those films actually were the story pickup after Return of the Jedi with the original cast? What if there were no Jar Jar Binks? What if they just continued the story back then like they're doing now? Then would you have liked those films?
Well, I mean, let's first of all get the most obvious thing out of the way. Who knows if we would have liked it? You can say a movie in theory. Would you like that movie? Well, I don't know until I sit down and watch it. I mean, when you describe to me the prequels before watching them, I could go, hey, that sounds like it could be good, even though I generally don't like prequels in general. But yeah, that sounds great. Sign me up. And we looked how it turned out. Look, even if Lucas had come out of the gate and instead of doing prequels decided to go sequels, right? It doesn't change the fact that George Lucas had lost touch as a director. You know, he's a great story creator. His imagination, still one of the best in the business, all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to actually working with actors, executing a story on screen, it really would have been best had George gone to Steven Spielberg and said, hey, buddy, you owe me about 7. Make one up for me here. Or gone to somebody else. You know, go to his old buddy Coppola. Say, what do you think about directing a Star Wars film, you know? If he could have just been the story executive over everything, gotten in another director, then it might have been better. Look, I'm going to be excited to see Star Wars Episode 7 no matter what. Like, no matter what. And I'm really excited that it's a sequel now and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, to say, you know, would you have liked it if they were sequels? Well, I would have liked the concept of them doing sequels instead of prequels, but who knows if it's still George Lucas directing them at that period when he was kind of as cocooned as he was completely surrounded by yes men at the time. Nobody could bring up a criticism or anything to George Lucas at the time. That's a bad place to be. And I don't think that George Lucas is the type of egomaniac that he even wanted that situation, but that's what it was. He was George frickin' Lucas, and no one's going to say anything to him. I think they probably still would have turned out just as bad. I don't know, Chris, what do you think?
I agree with you 100%. And you also have to remember that at the time when George Lucas was making these movies, the intent was not to just put out a great Star Wars movie. It was to say, hey, look at these brand new toys and the way we're gonna. But I don't mean physical toys. I mean toys as far as look at these new special effects.
Yeah.
We're shooting this in digital, guys. How many times did we hear digital, 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 digital? You kept hearing all that stuff. It was to say. And it did. It changed the game.
It changed the game for everybody.
And it absolutely had groundbreaking special effects. I know it was one of the things that you went back just to watch the special effects. But that was the intent. That's what his focus wasn't there. It wasn't that, okay, we have this cool storyline, and he never was the guy to be able to work with the actors. So it didn't matter what it was. I'm actually glad it went down the way it did, because it led us to where we are today. And that is a brand new regime with brand new stories, and now fans in the forefront. I thought Lucas did it right. He did it right in the fact that maybe he made the mistakes, even though he made it with the ego. It was like, I don't care what those guys say. It bothered him. He knew,
sure
and eventually
he
said, you know what, I'm going to sell it off and let these filmmakers of today do it, and we're in the place. I would have done it exactly the same way.
Yeah, I'll agree that I like the way it actually went down, with the exception, as the writer pointed out, that we don't need Jar Jar Binks in the prequels, okay? We don't need that guy anywhere.
Is it gonna go?
I like the way that it went down because you needed to make Star Wars look mortal again in order to bring back the original characters, because Return of the Jedi ended on such a high. There's no way to top that. It's like if the Beatles reunited and John Lennon hadn't been shot. It would not have been the same as it was in the 60s. You just can't recreate that magic. However, what the prequels actually did was it tempered everybody's expectations for what a Star Wars film can do.
It reset the expectations altogether.
And so now everybody's like, oh, we can make a mistake, so now let's try to build it back up again, and let's get this new regime with J.J. Abrams in. So I would rather have new, fresh blood direct the people from the original trilogy as opposed to have George Lucas reteam with those guys.
That's a great point, because you know now, because even if you loved Revenge of the Sith, the over 3 were not well received, that Episode 7 is good. Not even great. If it's good, people are gonna be like, woohoo, Star Wars is back, and then that'll make us excited.
And again,
more.
I don't want to do revisionist history either, because when I heard that there were going to be new Star Wars movies, I was excited that they were prequels, and I would have at that point I would have rather had seen prequels than see them try to trump back Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. Now I'm excited to see them back, but when I heard it was prequels, I was like, sweet, let's see the Clone Wars, let's see young Darth Vader,
the origins of Vader, all that. Remember that first poster they put out? Like, remember that where it was just
the shadow?
It was little Anakin, and the shadow was Vader's shadow. It's like,
The Phantom Menace, the first trailer, I paid to see Meet Joe Black in the theater so I could see the trailer for Phantom Menace.
I did the same
It
thing.
is the greatest trailer I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. I bring that up all the time. It is this poster child of great trailers for bad movies. It was like one of the best trailers I'd ever seen.
His lightsaber's got two sides to
Like,
it.
what the hell is going on?
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.